This video is sponsored by Aura. Alright you guys, so in front of us we have 5 of the best gaming mice that I think should be a part of your top considerations if you are looking for a brand new gaming mouse in 2022. So what we have here is the Xtrfy M42 wireless, the Pulsar X-Lite V2, as well as the X-Lite V2 Mini, the Razer Viper V2 Pro, the Fanatic Bow, as well as the Ponage Ultra Custom Symmetrical 2. Long name, but that's the name they picked for the mouse, and at least it's pretty good. But anyways, we're going to talk about that in just a little bit here after a quick word from today's video sponsor. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is? For years, this crimes rate has been surging and affecting millions of Americans, and there is something that you can do about it. I'm talking about identity theft. And there is a new victim every 14 seconds. And every time that it happens, everyone acts shocked, surprised, but this is the thing. You don't have to be shocked and surprised. You can do something about it, and that's why I'm excited to partner with Aura, who is sponsoring this video. Imagine trying to log into your email account only to see the password was changed hours ago, and now you're seeing activity from your bank, you're seeing your credit cards being used, you're seeing your crypto wallets being emptied, and you are incredibly scared, you don't know what to do, and you don't know if the damage that's being done is even reversible. Well, that's where Aura comes in. Aura is identity theft protection, a password manager, a VPN, as well as antivirus software, all bundled together in one application. Aura monitors the dark web for your emails, your passwords, your social security numbers, and they will send you alerts incredibly fast, right to the mobile application that you can download on iOS or Android, or straight to your email, or even if you're on desktop using some of the additional features, you can download Aura on Windows as well as Mac OS. When it comes to fraud, every second matters. Connect your credit and bank accounts to get notified up to 4 times faster than Aura's competitors. Their VPN allows you to stay anonymous online and keep your browsing history and personal information safe and encrypted. And their antivirus software will block malware and viruses before they're even allowed to infect your devices. Again, with one app, you can protect all of your personal and financial information as well as stay safe online. And the best part is you can add up to 5 people to your Aura account. So not only can you protect yourself online, but you can also protect your family as well. Click the first link in the description or visit aura.com/toomuchtech to download Aura today and start your free trial. And trust me, it's better to be safe than sorry. And I want to thank Aura again today for sponsoring this video. So the first mouse that we're going to be going over today is actually going to be the Razer Viper V2 Pro. This one is one of Razer's new releases that just came out a couple weeks ago, and I've been testing it out quite a bit. Still working on my full review with all of those opinions, but this one is definitely a top consideration, and it is better than the previous generation Razer Viper in a few different ways. But the previous generation Razer Viper wasn't bad in the slightest, and it actually has quite a few more features than this mouse. But what makes this one special obviously is the updated build quality. The extreme weight reduction is really nice, weighing in at under 60 grams this time around instead of 75 grams just about. The side buttons on this mouse are definitely the best on any Razer Viper product that they have released, including the Viper Mini. These side buttons stick out a little bit more, and since the grips are now optional and come in the box, it's even easier to hit these side buttons. Now, this is the only mouse on this list that does feature optical clicks, so they will be instant and you will never ever have to worry about double clicking at all. And also props to Razer for moving the Viper over to USB Type-C. Welcome to the present. Now, what's crazy about this Viper is that the sensor is based on one of Pixar's newest and most expensive sensors, especially with the crazy chip shortage going on and whatnot. But basically, you can set this mouse to go all the way up to 30,000 DPI if you really want it to, but that's not really the purpose of the sensor. The sensor actually is just supposed to track a little bit more accurately, so you do have a bit more precision when it comes to that sensor tracking. Is it distinguishable between the old Viper and the new V2 Pro? Not necessarily. I mean, the old sensor was pretty good. There really wasn't any issues with it. And did we really need to change it? Well, no, but I guess there's just a reason why Razer had to justify that $150 price tag that they dropped on us. I mean, this mouse is insanely expensive, and honestly, picking up a Viper Ultimate that also does feature some of the revised Razer clicks as well that feel exactly the same as V2 Pro might actually be the way to go if you're looking to save some money and also pick up a fully ambidextrous mouse and not just ambidextrous in shape only, because the Viper V2 Pro, to drop all that weight down from 75 grams down to under 60 grams grams, you had to lose a few features. So no more built-in side grips, they're included in the box. It's only right-handed as far as the side buttons go. You can't store the dongle inside of the mouse anymore either. And you also no longer have the capability to use the charging dock with the previous version of the Viper Ultimate. The V2 Pro is more or less a lot simpler. You plug it in with the USB Type-C to charge it. The battery life is going to be very good, and you also do not have any RGB to worry about. So the weight that has been cut also cut a lot of features. Now, is this worth $150 as opposed to $70 or $80? Well, that is entirely up to you to figure out. I will have both of them linked in the description below if you want to check them both out. Next up, we have the Pulsar X-Lite V2 and V2 Mini. In my opinion, these mice are the best Zowie EC shaped mice. These are incredibly comfortable, super lightweight, weighing both of them at or under 60 grams, especially in the case of the Mini. And on this one, I have the Max Gaming Edition, which comes pre-installed with these Pulsar Super Glide skates, which are glass mouse skates, and they are extremely fast and super consistent. And they work great, honestly, on using them on regular cloth mousepad surfaces or even hybrid mousepad surfaces for an extremely fast and reliable glide. I've been using the new Odin Infinity V2 quite a bit, and I do have a few of them. I have this one, which is the Alex Otis edition. I also have the Nacho Customs one, and then I ordered a couple of the colored versions as well. So you will see a little bit more of those on the channel, but so far this has been one of my favorite pads to play on using PTFE skates or the Pulsar Super Glide skates. These things are absolutely amazing. And if you aren't using one of the mice on this list in particular, you can also order the Pulsar Super Glide skates for other mice. Now, both of these mice use USB Type-C as well to charge, and the battery life on them is extremely long, so you can play just about as long as you want. And honestly speaking, out of the two, recently I have definitely been preferring the X-Lite V2 Mini just because it feels very, very comfortable in the hand to claw grip. Like, it just feels perfect. Even though I don't get as much palm support, I don't really need it when I'm going for a pretty relaxed or aggressive claw grip, like just using the mouse in the hand. This left side just feels absolutely perfect when it comes to claw gripping this mouse, in my opinion. And the thumb grip is also perfect. I do enjoy the fact that Pulsar smooth out the sides of the mouse to make them completely smooth, so you're not grabbing onto holes on both sides of the mouse. So it's very ergonomic, extremely comfortable to use for long periods of time. And if you're gaming or creating content or doing anything else on the computer, both the X-Lite V2 and V2 Mini are very comfortable and reliable mice to use at that. Not to mention there's a bunch of different colors and editions that you can purchase as well. So there's some that are exclusive to Max Gaming, some that are exclusive to Pulsar's website, and there are some that you can get from Amazon as well. So definitely check out all three of them. I will leave a link to Pulsar's website in the description below to check out some of the X-Lite V2s and V2 Minis that they have in stock. Next up on the list, we have the Fanatic Bolt, and this one is one of my personal favorite mice to use because it feels very similar in the hand to the Logitech G Pro Superlight, and it's only $90 or $80. Like, it's significantly less money than the G Pro Superlight, even though it has been on sale recently for less money, like 110 to 120 bucks for the Superlight. That's really not a bad deal, if I'm being completely honest, but the main clicks on the Fanatic Bolt definitely do it justice by having those KLGM 8.0s, which is also very similar to the Pulsar mice and some of the other mice on this list. Another notable feature that the Bolt has that the G Pro Superlight does not offer is the fact that it has Bluetooth as well as 2.4 gigahertz connection that you can use with the dongle. Or if you want to leave the dongle at home and use the Bluetooth connection to be your laptop mouse out and about, you don't have to bring the dongle with you. You can just use the Bluetooth. Everything works really well. Obviously, the polling rate is not as high with the Bluetooth, so I don't recommend gaming with the Bluetooth for long periods of time because you'll want a more steady and reliable connection. But using the Bluetooth mode, it's not bad. You can definitely do it, but I just don't recommend it. If you know you're going to be playing games, I would just bring your dongle along with you anyways. But it is nice to use the Bluetooth mode on the Fanatic Bolt, especially if you have something like a MacBook where you only have USB Type-C and you don't have USB Type-A to plug into. And this mouse, in comparison to the G Pro Superlight as well, it's a little bit shorter, but the hump in the back is in a very similar placement, so it definitely does feel similar, just a little bit shorter in the hand. So if you find the G Pro Superlight to be a little bit too big and a little bit too long for you,
what do you mean by that?
I definitely think that the Bolt is a really good option. Next up, we have the Xtrfy M42 Wireless, which is a really nice release from Xtrfy, and actually a mouse that I've wanted ever since I held the original M42 in my hand. It's just really nice to be able to try multiple shapes of a mouse by having the swappable back shell. Unfortunately, I don't really love the implementation that Xtrfy chose to go with by having to find a little screwdriver, which I have conveniently right here because I know that I need it from time to time. But basically, you use this little screwdriver and you unscrew these 3 screws at the bottom. Oh, whoops, I stripped one of the screws in there, so, well, I guess we gotta get this thing out, but I guess it doesn't really matter because it's not super important that it's in there or not. But anyways, I digress. I know I like the product, but this is not the best implementation by this company. But anyways, it's a unique product. You can swap the back shells for something that's going to be a little bit more flat. So this is something that's going to feel a lot more similar to like a Final Mouse Air 58 that just has a really flat shape in the back. Or you can swap it to something that's going to feel like an even shorter Fanatic Dash and have this taller hump in the back that supports your palm, and that's also really nice for a firm claw grip. So the flatter back is great for a fingertip grip, and the taller back is great for a claw grip. Now the side buttons are really nice as well, and you can also obviously swap the shells for customization. Another cool thing about the M42 is that you can also change the weight balance of the mouse. So you can screw these little 2 things and adjust them to adjust the weight balance of the mouse as well. So if you want it to be a little bit more forward heavy or a little bit more back heavy, you can adjust the weight balance of this mouse, which is not something that you see every day. And it is, personally, I like my weight balance perfectly in the middle, so I didn't mess with that, but it is something that you can adjust if you really want to. But one last thing I want to say about the customization of the M42 wireless: be careful when you're putting on this front shell, because it is pretty nerve-wracking that it feels like you just might break the front mouse clicks of this mouse when you're putting on this front shell. So just want to make you guys aware of that. Be ready to RMA this thing back to Xtrfy if your front clicks don't work. I did break my M4 wireless. The M42 wireless has been fine though each time I did swap the front shell. And lastly, we have the Ponage Ultra Custom Sim 2, horrible name. Oh my god, why would they name it that? But more or less, this is definitely the closest to a Viper Mini Ultimate that we're gonna get at this point. And the best part about this mouse is that Ponage has recently lowered the cost of this mouse to $90, and it's very easy to find too. Even on Amazon and their website, it's $90 on both. So if you have Prime, go ahead and get the Prime shipping. If you want it directly from Ponage, you probably have to pay shipping, but I know that you can also buy additional shells to customize the color of this mouse. So it is available with a different shell in the front. If you want to go with the honeycomb version of the shell, you can swap that on very easily with these magnets that Ponage gives you. So you just go ahead and go like that, and boom, you are done. And you got a new shell on there. Your mouse is a little bit lighter, and you can also swap the front shell too, obviously, to get yourself a little bit of color and contrast. So everything is held in place by magnets, super easy to do, and no worries if you're concerned with the Xtrfy method. But honestly speaking, I also love the fact of how easy this mouse is to pull apart. You can also store the dongle right inside the mouse as well, so it's very easy to keep track of. You don't ever have to worry about losing it, especially because Ponage doesn't have their name on the dongle. It's nice that at least I can put it inside the mouse when I'm done using it. But again, more or less, this is basically a Viper Ultimate Mini, and it's $90, which is probably the price that Razer would release it. Maybe honestly, nah, Razer will probably drop a Viper Ultimate Mini at $129, $100 more than what the Viper Mini is typically on sale for. So technically that does complete my top 5 list of mice that you guys should definitely be considering if you are in the market for a new, specifically wireless gaming mouse. I don't know if you guys caught that, but every mouse on this list is wireless. But I do have a couple of honorable mentions. There are a couple reasons why they're honorable mentions and they're not the top mice that I would feature in this list. The first mouse that is a part of the honorable mentions is the Gamebition's Orbit. Basically, this is the mouse that Logitech refuses to make. It is a lightweight or super light version of the G303, or a remastered version of the Logitech G Pro wired that they never made wireless and lightweight. So I'm really glad that Gamebition stepped up to the plate and they made a really nice mouse that comes in a bunch of really cool colors. And you can also customize it, obviously, with the different colors as well, and also store the dongle inside of the mouse. And would you look at that? Would you look at that? They just put a nice little subtle text branding on the dongle itself so that you know this is the dongle for your Gamebition's Orbit. Now, this mouse in my opinion, would definitely make the list if it was readily available. As at the moment, it's not readily available, and they have 60-day pre-orders currently live. So within the next 2 to 3 months, you guys should be able to purchase one of these Gamebitions Orbit in the next couple of months. I'm not really the biggest fan of the whole pre-order thing, but they do give you a little bit of a discount if you guys are patient enough to wait for it. And honestly speaking, this thing is definitely worth it. So once it goes on sale, I would definitely go ahead and pick this thing up. But if you're patient and you know that you want a mouse just like this, maybe go ahead and pre-order it so you know you got one coming. And lastly, we have the Logitech G Pro X Superlight, probably the mouse that I've used the most over the past nearly year and a half of owning it. One of the nice things that I like about the G Pro Superlight, of course, is the shape, because there is not really many other mice that have this shape other than the Fanatic Bolt, which is a little bit smaller and my hands are pretty big, so I definitely do enjoy having the larger size of the Logitech G Pro Wireless, and also the newly released HTM Wireless from G-Wolves, which honestly speaking does not really measure up in terms of the feel in the hand and the user experience compared to the G Pro X Superlight. That one is a lot cheaper, but if it's within $20 to $30, I would rather just spend the extra money and get the Logitech product personally. And also, you do have a slot in the bottom of the mouse to store the dongle, which is quite nice. That's crazy. The two mice in the honorable mentions both had that. But unfortunately, this mouse does have micro USB, which this mouse, honestly speaking, was dead for the past month, because not only was I testing a bunch of other mice, but I just did not want to dig up a micro USB cable just to charge this mouse. Like, it was just kind of a hassle, and I really hope that on the next version of Logitech G Pro wireless releases and all of the future wireless Logitech mice, just release the mice with USB Type-C. It's such a feature that should be standard now. Like, micro USB is so old, it's had its time. When was the last time you seen a cell phone come with micro USB? Exactly. It's probably been years, like more than 3 to 4 years of a phone coming with micro USB. It's an ancient port. Time to retire it. Let's move everything else on to USB Type-C. Like, literally, USB Type-C has been out since what, 2014, 2015? Why is it not on everything? And lastly, I do like the clicks quite a bit on the G Pro Superlight. These are Omron 20 mils, a lot lighter than KLGM 8.0s. Even though those are crispier, these do still feel snappier and a little bit more spammable than those KLGM 8.0s. But honestly speaking, these days, I find myself gravitating back toward the Fanatic Bolt a little bit more, just because I like the fact that I can charge it with the USB Type-C and that it has that Bluetooth connectivity that I can connect to multiple devices extremely easily. And if you guys are wondering, I do have Pulsar Super Glide skates. These are like a special edition called Aim Cats from Max Gaming, so you can purchase these directly from them, and I think they look pretty cool. Like, the design is definitely a little weird, but I find it kind of funny, and it will definitely help improve your aim.